What are the most common mistakes that people make when collecting their Social Security? When they're currently collecting or they're about to collect? So in our view, there are four of the most common errors that people are making. I'm going to define those for you in four separate videos and help you to avoid the mistakes that others have made in the past. So here they are. Number one, thinking that Social Security is just going to go away. Probably the biggest and most common mistake. Number two, claiming too early. Claim too early, there were reductions. Divorcees, widows, and widowers, tons of mistakes are being made there. Oftentimes people are getting much, much less than what they should be getting in their checks throughout their lifetime. And then finally, for those people who are already collecting Social Security, there are reductions that can happen, and you can avoid those even if you are already collecting Social Security. So again, I'm going to tackle these in four separate quick videos, and I'll define them for you and talk about how to avoid some of those mistakes. Here are kind of my basic rules on Social Security. If you wanted the quick story on what you should be thinking about, number one, if a benefit check from Social Security is available to you and you need the money, keep the lights on, keep food on the table, take the money. Don't need to think about too many unique or complicated strategies. If it's available to you and you need it, take the money. Seek to maximize the highest benefit available in your household. So within any given household, there could be multiple benefits that are available. So for example, if you're married, you might have a benefit on your own work history, you might have a spousal benefit. If you have a spouse that has passed away, possibly there's a benefit on your own work history, a survivor benefit. There are children in your household, possibly dependent benefits. Whatever those are, you need to understand what's available to you and seek to maximize the highest of those benefits. And often that is through delaying. So third point there is consider delaying as long as possible. As a general rule, the longer you wait to collect Social Security benefits, the bigger your check's going to be. If you decide to collect Social Security prior to your full retirement age, as defined by Social Security, for those born 1960 or later, your full retirement age is 67. If you collect any sort of benefit prior to that and you go back to work, there could be a reduction. So think about how long you want to work and when you want to collect Social Security so you can avoid that potentially avoid that reduction. And then finally, be informed, understand how Social Security works before you make a decision for yourself. Okay, so the number one, in my opinion, mistake that people make is they think Social Security is going away. I have heard this hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of times. People come to us and say, hey, the system doesn't have enough money. Therefore, it's better for me just to get a check as soon as I possibly can. So at least I'll get a few checks throughout my lifetime. I put a lot of money into the system, so I'm just going to run and get a check early. I'm going to take you back to 1982. So every year, the Board of Trustees of Social Security, they put out their annual report. It has all the details of the inflows into the system, the outflows, and more importantly, their projections. So this is April of 1982, 40 years ago as of this recording. This is the Board of Trustees report, April of 1982. And we're going to take a look and see what they were projecting in 40 years ago in Social Security. And what you're going to find under the highlights of April of 1982 Board of Trustee reports, it indicates to us, without corrective legislation in the very near future, the Old Age and Survivor Insurance Trust Fund, Social Security, will be unable to make benefit payments on time beginning no later than April or July of 1983. So in April of 1982, the Board of Trustees report said they had 15 months before they were not going to be able to make payments. So if you were, say, 62 years old in 1982 and you read this report, you'd probably run out, collect your Social Security right away, because according to this, you only had 15 months potentially of checks. Now, what we had found going backwards is that Social Security never missed a check. They did make the corrective actions and the corrective legislation, and Social Security in the last 40 years hasn't missed a check. So if somebody in 1982, they run in, they collect an early benefits, permanently reduced, thinking that they're only going to get checks till July of 83. If they're still alive, they're still getting checks. So it didn't go away. where are we at right now? So this is actually directly from the Board of Trustees report dated June of 2022. And what is it indicating to us? Well, if you look at that yellow box, what it's indicating to us is that starting in 2035, these are current projections as of 2022. In 2035, there will only be enough money projected to pay about 80% of benefits. This is for retirement, survivor, and disability benefits. So going back to 1982, Congress had 15 months to fix Social Security. Now they've got 13 years. If they can fix it in 15 months, I feel pretty confident that they're going to be able to fix it and keep sending payments. They'll be able to fix it in the next 13 years. So if your view is the system is terrible, there's not enough money, it's going to go belly up and we're not going to get checks, I'd go back to 1982. There is the potential that Congress will get this right and that they will keep sending checks. So before you hastily run out and collect any benefits, as soon as they're available to you, and potentially reduce your benefits for the rest of your life, permanently reduce your benefits, think about what happened in 1982. All right, here are some of the things that they could change very easily. And I would suggest to you that Social Security is not a math problem. The math is fairly easy on how to keep Social Security going. It's more of a political problem. It's really hard to get Congress to act on these things. So because they're big changes and it's really important to a lot of people. One thing we can do is increase the amount of money that people pay Social Security on. So right now in 2022, you only pay into Social Security up to $147,000 of your wages. So if you increase that number, obviously there would be more people paying more money into the system. Number two, you can increase the percentage of what goes into the system. Right now, you pay 6.2% of your wages up to $147,000. That's your FICA, Federal Insurance Contribution Act. You pay 6.2%. Your employer pays 6.2%. So there's 12.4% going into Social Security on your behalf. If you're self-employed, you pay the whole 12.4%. That 6.2% hasn't gone up since 1990. So it's 32 years since they've made a change to that number. If you increase that a little bit gradually, as opposed to all at once, if you did it all at once, it'd probably be a big uprising. If you increase that, more money goes into the system. Increase the full retirement age, take a longer time for people to be able to get benefits. They actually made some of those changes in 1983. For those born from 1943 to 1954, full retirement age is 66. Then it increases a few months every year, birth year. And then if your birth year is 1960 or later, full retirement age is 67. So they've already kind of done that. That was part of the changes that they made in 82 and 83 to be able to extend Social Security. Reduce future benefits for all recipients. I don't see this one happening. That's the political problem. Which politician, which one of your representatives or senators is going to vote for that? Their voting base is really the people who are collecting Social Security or about to collect Social Security. And you go out to them and say, hey, I'm just going to reduce your benefits. It's really not good for reelection. So reduce benefits for higher earners. It's a possibility. It is one of the ideas that's being kicked around. Hasn't been done in the past. They might do that through increasing the wage base from 147,000 to a little bit higher. But Social Security really doesn't have a history of going to higher earners and saying you're just going to get a lower check. So that's the math behind saving it. And those are the different dials that Congress is going to look at making adjustments to in the next 13 years to make sure that in 2035, instead of 80% of checks, 100% of the benefits that have been promised are going to go out to recipients. We incorporate all of this into our dream financial planning process here at HPK Provident Advisors. The D stands for discover. Discover what you want to accomplish, what you have going on right now, and try to do the best that we can to optimize your overall financial situation. Reduce stress, that's a big one. And that's really through education. Understanding what is available to you, like understanding Social Security, how it works and how it can, all parts of your financial life can benefit you. Expectations, your expectations of us, our expectations of you. And then the action steps. Those are the things that we recommend and say these are the ways that you can really accomplish what you're trying to accomplish in your financial life. And then finally move forward. After we've decided together on action steps, we move forward with monitoring that plan. So if you are anxious about Social Security, you think the system is going to run out of money, I would be cautious on that, because there's really nothing in the history of Social Security going back to 1935 that indicates that that is going to happen. With any questions, we can clarify the benefits that are available to you and how to avoid this particular mistake. Give us a call at 833-HPK-PLAN. That's 833-HPK-PLAN.